It's time for Gardening Inside Out, a live show offering you plant advice for any space in your life. Introducing your perennial hosts, David Bates and Josh Carey.
Hey, and welcome in, everybody. It's Saturday morning. It is time for Gardening Inside Out. Coming to you alive from Bates Hollow and Bates Nursery and Garden Center. Yes, it is.
Yes, it is, indeed.
Yes, it
Bates
is.
Hollow, Bates Valley, Bates by the creek.
Well, you've got the Bates Mall. You know, it's Bates Hollow Springs Gate Mall.
We were
right
chatting
there.
just as we came on the air that Austin and crew got the covers put on the connecting walkway from the Bates Trium to the outside checkout entry. So
Have they marked the mile markers yet so people can do their laps? Because you could do some laps in there.
You could.
Yes.
Well,
All the stuff
perhaps
in there will
we'll
get out of your way.
Perhaps we'll discuss that
Yes.
at some point. But right now, we're going to talk about weather.
And it's cold.
It is a chilly day, 40 degrees. Starting off here, live from Bates Nursery Station at Bates Nursery and Garden Center in the Green Room. Today is Saturday, the 2nd of November.
Wow.
Coming around pretty quickly, and we're glad to be rolling into it. Really nice, mostly sunny weather today. Tomorrow will be nice again, but clouds are going to be rolling in. More clouds than sun tomorrow, 79, 62, so still very mild. Wonderful temperatures Monday, 77, 63. More of the same. It's going to be more clouds than sun. A little less clouds on Tuesday, 78, 66, but then showers return Wednesday and Thursday, 77, 64, 75, 55. Wednesday and Thursday, maybe a chance of sun returning on Friday with a few lingering showers, both on Friday and Saturday. So we have an increased chance of rain for the coming week, which is good. We need that. When we all got a bit this past week. Let's look quickly at the radar here, and you can see way out west. There's that upcoming chance of rain. It seems like these fronts that are out here in Oklahoma, Nebraska, by the time they work their way across, there's just not much left of them.
Well, is it actually a front if it's on that side? Is it? Wouldn't it be a back?
Well, from our perspective, I guess you're right.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So anyway, that's coming along, but all clear here in the Mid-South region and actually pretty much throughout the Southeast. Wow. Very little of that. 40.6 degrees, and we really don't have any wind to speak of, or 2 miles an hour. And again, it's almost 41 degrees here in the Music City. It's fall, and it is November.
Yeah. I added 2 extra layers, one on top, one on the bottom.
Yeah,
broke out the leather.
I'm still rocking shorts. I just put on a vest, which is good enough for me. My legs just don't get that cold. Matter of fact, I can better deal with chilly legs than hot legs.
What do you got against Rod Stewart?
Personally,
come on.
I'm just talking about my own personal legs that I have to deal with. But you know what? We got all kinds of things to talk about here beyond my legs. We're going to talk about what's going on in your garden and in your landscape and all the things that are going around your house here in Gardening Inside Out. We take questions directly from you, and we answer them right here because this is what we do, Josh.
Yes.
Now, you got a little sideline gig you do during the week, and then you come in here on Saturdays, and you make that little transition into a weekend horticulturalist, and you've been doing a really good job of it. I want to say
I've got a little experience.
You get to play the everyman on the show, and the rest of us get to play experts.
No, I'm the weird uncle that sits in the corner at Thanksgiving. That's what you guys view
like
me
I
as.
said,
I know it
everyman,
is. Okay.
Bringing in Caroline Gant,
Pull my
Austin
finger.
Lowen, welcome in, guys. Great to see you today.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good to be here.
It is good to be here. Actually, at my age, it's good to be anywhere. Yep. So I'm glad to be here. Tyler Blankenship across the way. We got Tyler Cam rocking again today.
Yeah.
There you are.
He got a new hat. Look at that thing.
Yeah, we got some
Wow.
new Bates swag and Earth Mix swag in yesterday.
That's right.
So looking good. So thank you, Tyler, and thanks for getting us on the air. And providing us the mechanism by which we're going to hopefully work through these questions that we have before. Yes. So
the gears
before we
are
get
rolling.
into that, now Caroline's been away all week, so she may be just trying to play catch up.
That's right. Just got in last night at like 11 p.m.
So she's been busily working in the world of entertainment this past week. So Baltimore, I believe, is where you were working.
I was in Baltimore. Yeah.
You know what?
For a couple days.
What's going on in Baltimore? What's the flora like?
Wait a minute.
Is there fall color? Is there flowers?
It's Balmer.
Baltimore.
Yeah.
It looked a lot like here. There was a lot of fall color. I should have sent Tyler this picture. Actually, I did, but I didn't say to put it on the show. But there was a huge grove of Amsonia. So I thought of
saw
Bridget.
that.
I sent it to the two of you and Bridget. I mean, it was a lot like here.
Yeah.
I really didn't see much difference.
I figured.
It was cool. Went to Edgar Allan Poe's grave. That was exciting. Old cemetery.
Is that the first and last time? Nevermore, right?
That's right. Nevermore. But it was a nice little short trip. A lot of stuff. So
Well, good.
was
Glad
Also,
you're
how
back.
about you? I mean, I've already talked about getting the covers on the our connecting awning, which is really cool, and it gives our guests a place to be able to get out of the weather or not stand in the weather, either be it either rain or just beating down sun.
Yeah, exactly.
So that'll be a welcome addition. It actually already is a welcome addition.
It is. It's great. Yeah, you can walk from the checkout all the way back to the base trim and into the annual department. And pretty. I had a guest yesterday. It was like, "Are y'all just going to cover everything?" And I was like, "Maybe." I mean, it's not, probably not.
We got a lot of sun-loving plants,
That's true.
so we have to kind of. But we also have a lot of shade-loving, shade-tolerant plants. So that's the kind of the motivation behind it, and it's also great to be able to have a bit of refuge and a way to get from the front checkout area to the greenhouse perennial areas when we're maybe that's what your destination is, and we don't have to walk you through all of the whatever the weather is doing. So we're trying to. It's not what I would call a controlled environment, but it's semi-controlled.
Because you can't control it.
Well, we
can
don't
only contain it.
We barely even contain weather around here. We just have learned to deal with it, and that's really what we try to do, is to adapt and deal with it. So that's the way we do it here at Bates Nursery. So we're glad to have you all on today and get a chance to talk about what's on your gardening minds, and I bet you there are questions in the queue.
there are questions, and we're already getting some live questions.
Yes, we
in.
are.
Hey,
So let's dive in. Everybody ready?
ready,
Wait,
Buckle in tight.
I'm not ready.
Tyler?
Tyler.
I'm getting Caroline's photo queued up.
Oh, my Amsonia.
Yeah.
So we can stretch a little
Yeah.
bit while we're looking.
I can drink some coffee.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Nope.
here we
Break's
go.
over.
Oh.
There it is. So it's very dry there. You can see from that echinacea in front. But
Quite.
there's, I think that's Blue Star Amsonia in the back that's starting to get its fall color, and it's just so pretty. So this was right at the
Right at the
harbor
inner
of
harbor,
Baltimore.
yeah, absolutely.
You talk
There's a
about
great crab house right up there on top of the hill. I mean, you go
Is
right.
there now?
Yes,
I
there
had
is.
no time
That
to
looks
really
like a
wander
cheesecake
anything.
factory,
No matter
Josh.
how
That's what I'm
long-
seeing from the umbrella.
It's a whole entertainment area. It's like their version of Second Avenue.
It's wild
It's
down
nice,
there.
yes.
Yeah. And there was a concert in town that was just crazy. And there were so many people down there. It was insane. And be like, I got to get hotter up there than it is here, I
Wow.
believe. Yeah. I packed for cold weather. Should have looked ahead. All right. Well, let's get into some questions. We got a live question in from Linda on YouTube. Linda asks, I need to move my angel trumpet. Should I cut it back before moving it? You can, but the first hard freeze that we get is going to kill it back to the ground, but I wouldn't move it until spring if you're here in Middle Tennessee, because that is one that needs to get established, get its roots going in the ground before it does start to get cold. So you could move it now, but I think your chances would be like 50-50 of it actually surviving.
Yeah, I mean, your chances are kind of low on it surviving anyway. I mean, we don't really sell that plant as like a perennial, but we all know that plant can certainly come back in the right spot.
The gold one is the one that really is hardy here.
But I think you're right. If you disturb the root system now and try to move it now before winter, you're probably going to lessen your odds of it coming back next spring.
I tried planting some in probably the end of September a couple years back, and they did not come up. And it was the gold. It was cuttings from one that I have that has been coming back for like 5 years, and None of them came up that I planted in the fall.
Well, that's a really good point to make, is that before you try to move it, if you do want to move it this time of year, take your cuttings, you know, like now. You can literally take sticks of cuttings of that, and then in the spring stick them, and they will root. Like, it's one of the easiest plants to root ever. So
now, is that one of the type of things, if you're going to cut it, you just need to put it in a cool, dry place and allow it to callus over so that, and that way it'll more likely produce roots later on? Or
that's one that I would just go ahead and root in water.
Okay.
I've grown them over winter, like Austin said. You know, I'll take cuttings just in case we have a really, really bad winter and they don't come back, and I will just keep them on a window ledge in my laundry room and just have them growing, have them rooted in, and then by spring they're ready to go in the ground.
Is that the one with the big blooms that plant?
that hang
that's the
down?
one? Okay.
Yeah,
Down.
Brugmansia.
yeah, what a beautiful plant.
Excuse me, I got so excited
Oh,
about
you're
it.
so excited.
Oh, it's one of my favorite plants. They become like trees, and they are poisonous, but they are something else.
And, you know, candidly, there are a great many plants that are poisonous, so we don't recommend go around just chewing on your shrubbery.
Yeah.
Right,
willy-nilly.
correct. We don't
You
want to
Good
eat
thing they're
that.
not
Kinda need to
venomous.
know.
Yes.
And that's been that way forever, so, you know, it's not a new occurrence.
Yeah, it's the venomous ones you got to watch out for.
Tyler, we are getting some comments on YouTube about audio. Just a heads up.
What kind of audio comments?
Bad ones.
Bad ones.
Bad ones.
Yes.
Yeah,
No,
people are switching to Facebook. Oh no, sound issue. Is it better on Facebook? Good morning. Sound is cutting in and out. But let's go ahead and get.
Bad
We'll
comments,
we'll
no bad
slowly
words,
go
yes.
into another question because I believe if you're watching on YouTube, it sounds like Facebook is good to go with audio. So if you have a Facebook account, hop on over there while we start talking about magnolia. Here we go. How should I water a newly planted magnolia tree over the fall and winter? This is a great question.
This is a good question. I mean, we had a little bit of rain, so that was helpful, but that little bit of rain didn't do much for your magnolia going down deep, okay? That stayed kind of on the surface this time. So this fall with an evergreen plant, we need to make sure we keep it evenly moist, but not just like soaked, okay? Once we get into wintertime and you start to notice the rains are happening more like they typically do, you're not going to have to water near as much. But with a newly planted plant, we need to make sure that water is right around the root zone where we need it. So deep waterings, not rain waterings, you know, especially the little minimal rain we got the other day.
Yeah,
So-
it was,
Oh, we got rain.
Yeah.
We did.
and it was the nice rain, but
Yeah.
like you said, maybe we got a quarter of an inch.
Yeah, exactly.
And it fell over quite a number of hours. It was not a substantial amount of rain. If you had grass seed out, it was a good thing because
Perfect for grass seed.
Perfect.
add some nice surface moisture. But if you're trying to water trees, don't deviate from what you've been doing. Continue to keep that hose out there and soak them at depth. Be patient. Watering cannot be done on trees, particularly magnolias and those kind of things, quickly. You have it's an exercise in patience, and it's a great time to be able to meditate.
Yeah.
You can do mindful watering.
Yes, definitely.
There you go.
Yeah, I've started enjoying watering. All right, second magnolia question. Recently planted bay magnolia dropping leaves. Is this normal?
Typically, yes. Okay, this is a sweet bay magnolia. This is our native magnolia around here. What a great plant.
Gorgeous.
Really, really pretty plant. And we call this a semi-deciduous plant or even a semi-evergreen plant, depending on which way you look at it. And for the most part, they don't, even like say like the past 2 winters we've had, they got like really cold. Like most sweet bays dropped pretty much every leaf. Okay, there'll be some that'll hold on. And also it's newly planted. So even with, a lot of times with magnolias, I've noticed this, newly planted ones, a lot of those interior leaves that were already kind of yellowing anyway will drop off, and they'll show some signs of that, like, you know,
And that-
newly planted stress.
Yeah, and the Magnolia virginiana, which is what the sweet bay magnolia is, and there are cultivars. There are some that are more resistant to foliar drop than others, but they're all, if you have any kind of weather at all in the winter, they're going to get down to where you've just got green leaves out on the tips of the branches, and
Yes.
it's going to be mostly bare stems, and that's totally normal. They kind of take it to an extreme. The regular southern magnolia, the grandiflora, those also drop a lot. They just do it at the point where a new growth begins to emerge, and it's shedding off all that foliage to get rid of that.
And after you've cleaned up everything.
Yes, generally
absolutely.
speaking. Yeah. It wants to keep you in the cycle.
Yeah.
Gotta have cleaning things to do.
There's always something when it comes to gardening, no matter what time of year it is. All right, our next question, we've actually got two that came from Cherry, one of our listeners. Good morning.
Hey, Cherry.
Cherry says, love my new Bates trees. And then she has two questions. One, should I remove the stake that trained them in the pot? It looks tight.
Okay.
Particularly if it's a vampire steak, because Halloween's over.
It's over.
So-
Oh my gosh, I'm so sad. I'm celebrating Halloween tonight.
Well, and speaking of sad,
Candy's on sale.
I'm sure there's a lot of people who are very sad about that we did not have an edition of our special thing that's happened the last
including
year.
myself. I'm very sad.
So anyway,
Christmas is coming.
I had an idea. I've presented this idea to Tyler, so I think we'll just hold on tight, everybody.
You were saying,
But back to Cherry. Cherry, it really depends on the plant and what the stake is actually doing. Okay, so like most nurserymen, whenever plants are young, they use stakes to make things straight and just to keep them straight. So they pin them up so your leader keeps going upright. You get to a point where your plant's going to outgrow whatever stake you've got. We just don't have stakes that are big enough for that. So if your stake right now is still like functioning properly how you need it to, then you can certainly leave it. If it seems like it's just there, then you can remove it.
they are never intended to be a permanent fixture.
No.
They're there to provide strength. Some plants are notoriously bad about being weak-rooted at the stem, and they'll tend to want to wiggle. Particularly container-grown plants, because they have been moved around a lot, they're more susceptible to that. But once they get in the ground and become established and no longer feel wiggly, for the lack of a better term, that can be removed and should be, because it's not intended to be a fixture in permanence.
Yeah, agreed.
Correct. All right, second question says, should I mulch around them or leave the bare dirt? And then she signs off, love you, wonderful people.
Well,
love you too.
The good thing about that question is that people need to understand that more is not always better.
Correct.
And in the industries, what we refer to is these, like mounds that you see some landscape companies put out over the winter months in particular, mainly because they don't have much else to do. So they just pile on more mulch.
Gotta have some place to plant the pansies.
It looks like a tree volcano,
Yes.
and that's not what you want. And as a matter of fact, that can be very detrimental to deciduous trees, hardwoods in particular, because you're keeping this moisture at the contact of the bark for extended periods of time. That actually can kill a tree if it stays wet too long. And do you concur with that, Austin?
Totally. Yeah, you're so right. Tons of people pile up mulch around the stem, and that's just not good practice, y'all. It's just not. Now, Cherry, for you specifically, if you want to mulch around your tree, you certainly can. I mean, aesthetically, it's kind of pleasing to see a mulch ring around your tree. But let's keep that mulch away from the stem if we can. You can get close, so it looks nice, but don't put it right on it. Don't pile it up around the stem. Just let it be kind of natural flowing. And then, yes, certainly you can do that. Do you have to? No, you don't. But, I plant trees in my yard and just in the yard out in the country. I'm not putting mulch rings around my trees out in the yard. That's just grass.
Stick them in the dirt.
That's just stick them in the dirt. That's just grass straight up to the stem, and I'll weed eat. I'll get close, but not too close usually. And then keep it, kind of bare dirt below the trees, but I don't use any mulch out there. So that's a aesthetic thing, really.
Yeah, you don't use anything.
Just the grass goes right back on top.
Yep. But if you needed to use stuff,
what would you use?
what would you use?
I don't know. There's a guy in here that knows.
Well, they're all...
Maybe just one, but we all might know.
I kind of got zoned out there for a minute, guys. Let's talk about Earth Mix Garden Products for a moment. And at Earth Mix Garden Products, we contend that success begins at the ground level, and because we know it does. You have an opportunity whenever you're planning new things to improve the odds of success.
Yes.
And that can only be done when you plant.
Right.
It might, if someone is assisting you in selecting plants, no matter where it is, it might sound as though they're just trying to upsell you to be able to get something else on the cart to run the ticket up. But when you're using Earth Mix Garden Products, that actually is helping you to get the best performance out of the plants, the highest success rate. and it's going to do that in a 100% organic fashion. And for the first several months of use, you don't have to add any fertilizer. It is naturally fertile, using all the best things that Mother Nature has to offer. So it doesn't matter what your application is, whether it's Proganics I for indoor gardening. I see that fly. I'm trying to ignore it.
Okay.
It knows I'm on camera right now.
Yes, it does.
Proganics I, Proganics O for outdoor situations. Supernatural, which is one of the premier products.
Yes.
That is the compost that is really the basis. It's a great standalone compost product, and also one of the basic inputs for several of the other products downstream, including Earth Mix Garden, which is the kind of the flagship brand of the Earth Mix brand. So no matter what you choose, be it Viagra or Magic Mushroom Compost, all are 100% organic, all sustainably produced right here in Nashville, Tennessee. And you're going to want to know where I can get it. If you just go to the Find Earth Mix tab at earthmix.net, you'll see the map come up and all the pins around the area come up. We've got all over here in the Middle Tennessee, Kentucky, Western North Carolina, Northern Alabama, over at Victory Gardens out in Meridian, Idaho. We've got a new one coming up very soon, do we not, Tyler? We've got out
yes,
in Crested Butte, Colorado.
Yep, that's right. They're not quite ready yet. The Earth Mix is on the way.
Right.
The truck just left yesterday, so we'll get them on the map next week when they get all the stock settled.
So anyway, what that means is no matter where you are, if you're in the eastern U.S. or even out west, there are Earth Mix products available to you. So check those out at earthmix.net. Just remember this: success in gardening indeed does begin at the ground level when you use Earth Mix garden products. And we appreciate you giving us a moment to talk about that. Help take the work out of your gardening and increase your success dramatically with Earth Mix.
Perfect.
So what do you need, Josh?
You need Earth Mix,
Yeah,
sunshine, water,
yeah,
plants.
that's it.
That's it.
So, pretty simple.
Yep.
And it does give you success. So thanks for giving
folks,
us a
if you're
moment.
going to make an investment in, say, this large, beautiful arborvitae here, or juniper,
That's a cryptomeria, John.
cryptomerian, okay,
Hobby
arborvitae.
Okay.
Spend an extra few bucks and get a bag of Earth Mix to go with it. Good gosh, people. I mean, you're making this investment. Just give it a shot. I mean, give it the best chance it's got.
Particularly when you get into the extremes of weather,
Really?
in particular heat and drought in the summertime, or things like cryptomeria, arborvitae, conifers. They really need that extra help to get through dry times, because sometimes we all get a little busy and we forget, hey, I went a few days longer than I should have between waterings, and it will help make a difference. So check it out, Earth Mix. Thank you.
Love
Absolutely.
it. I love Earth Mix.
Oh, yeah.
You know what else I love?
What else you love?
Stuff that
What was that?
stuff that's pretty and colorful.
What's in bloom?
With Austin. Oh, yeah.
Hey.
Bring it on.
All right, here we go. So, the normal things, kind of like last week. This is what a weird time of year it is right now, okay? But you know what? The normal things that are blooming, the mums, the asters, the goldenrod, and the pansies. They're all still in bloom, looking great. My pansies look really good right now. Really good. And hey, let's introduce a new one that's hit the stage this week.
May I introduce to you
Our little friend, Camellia. Hey, you know what? There's fall blooming camellias, and there's also spring blooming camellias, like early spring blooming camellias. But the fall ones that are in bloom right now, I personally have 2 camellias at the house. London Town Blush.
Oh my gosh, you're so fancy.
So fancy.
Wow.
Oh, they fancy.
So fancy.
Just beautiful.
Are they in full bloom?
Nah, I wouldn't say full, but they are blooming.
And rare. It's rare for camellias to bloom fully. They are they open over a period of time.
Exactly. And their petals drop off easier than any. Like I had a guest the other day buying a camellia, and he was being kind of rough with it. And I'm like, hey, man, you're going to lose all those blooms. Like, we got to be gentle. When they're in bloom, if you can just touch them, they'll fall off.
He's going to scare them petals away.
So anyway, the camellias, like I said, the new ones that are on blast, right? I mean, they're not on blast. They should be in bloom. But the ones that are on blast, just like last week, y'all, what is going on around Middle Tennessee?
Wild.
All of our spring blooming things are blooming right now. Like, it's insane.
We haven't received the signal, right?
I mean, I guess not. The dormancy signal.
cold
Like, hey,
signal.
just be quiet, man. Don't talk
sleep.
through this time. Go to sleep and then wake up in the spring. No, they're awake. The azaleas. I saw a picture this morning. Paula in the office. Paula, we love you. She showed me a picture of an azalea that is like almost full bloom.
Unbelievable.
We're going to talk about this more in a second, but I got to get through this. So the azaleas, the rhododendrons, the deciduous azaleas even are blooming. My Chinese snowball viburnum, full bloom. Like, I say full bloom. It's got like 8 blooms atop of the plant. But it's like, I don't really want you doing that yet. But it is.
sleep.
It looks great.
You got to enjoy them when they're
While you
blooming,
got 'em.
because those blooms are not going to bloom again in the spring.
That's what I'm saying. Like, yeah, we got things going on. We got quince happening out here. We got forsythia happening.
Unbelievable.
What's going on, y'all? Ben told me this morning, shout out Benny, his father Gila has, like, he told me no leaves on it, but it is showing blooms.
I never knew his father was named Gila.
Gila. Father.
Yes,
Father
his
Gila.
father Gila is in bloom and looking good. But we're like, what's going to happen next spring? Red buds, Tyler told me about. Cherries, Tyler told me about.
My
Going on.
foxglove.
Foxglove.
Oh.
See? That's weird. Caroline, you told me about
never
your
bloomed in spring.
lilac. Your
Yeah,
lilac
that
is
was
blooming.
last week.
We
Well,
got
I've
lilac
missed
on
a
the
whole
lot.
week. I'm like, all this is blooming here?
Yes, it is.
I haven't seen the light of day in Tennessee in a week.
And
So.
lilac on our lot right now is blooming, smelling fantastic. But I'm like, what are you doing, man?
Y'all, calm down. It's
Seriously,
not your time.
Everybody, calm down. We got to go to sleep soon.
Yeah.
Okay. And then Tyler, throw up the picture.
Oh.
This is a shout out to my sister.
Oh.
Ashley, look at you.
Holy moly.
Look, y'all. My sister is a fantastic human. Got 3 kids. She is a role model. Just awesome. Her and her husband, Eric, have been growing impatiens in this spot. I decided to put old school shade loving impatiens in this spot because that is the shadiest of shady spots in her yard. It is under a deck. It receives no sunlight.
Now, are those
None.
reseeding themselves each year, or is she having
She said,
replanted?
I asked her that last night when she sent me this picture, and she said that she replanted those this spring. So, and I can't even remember. It may have been me that got her a flat of impatiens. I don't know. Just an old school flat of impatiens. Good old 4-packs, popping them in, showing color in that spot. Ashley, hope you're doing well.
And
Eric,
you know, the great thing
You can
about
back
that
under the
photograph,
stairs.
it exhibits the fact that the downy mildew that came through a few years ago that kind of put the
impatient.
it really was bad on impatiens. It pretty much wiped out. And then everyone made the switch over to New Guineas, which is, of course, greater sun patience. But it's good to see that those can still be used in the area, albeit that's on a short leash this time of year. First time it gets cold, zap.
They gone.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oof.
But it's amazing from a little 4-pack annual, starting that small, getting to what we just saw there. Like, great work. Ash, love you. And then Tyler, throw up the last picture. This is just for fun. This is hilarious to me. Y'all don't even know her, but this is hilarious. That's Nana.
Oh my gosh.
That is Michael Jordan
amazing.
Nana. That was her Halloween costume. And we bring up Nana because Nana is not even my Nana. She's just a woman that we all call Nana. She grows.
Reminded of Chris Ladd for some reason or another.
Show it again, Tyler. Bring Nana back up. Look, y'all, this
Round
woman.
mound of
This
sound.
is the
There-
Cheatham County just
is
talking
that?
to town. This is not my Nana, but it's just a Nana that lives out there.
Somebody's
but look,
Nana.
she's dressed up as Michael Jordan. She
This
got
is
the bald head on.
incredible.
But I bring up Nana because she grows 4 o'clocks at her house, and every time I talk to her,
I have
every
feelings
time.
about that.
I know
plant.
you do. I knew you were going to say that. But she's got 4 o'clocks that have been reseeding every year and every year for probably 30 years at her house. And she was like, y'all, I got colors y'all ain't even never seen before.
They do hybridize.
They
It's
hybridize
cool.
like
Mine
crazy
have
within
done that.
themselves. So shout out Nana.
Nana.
Thanks for that costume.
That's also
It's
something
hysterical.
we've never seen before.
Yes.
Incredible. One more
Look at
time.
her. Oh, I'm going to
Hope
make her
Nana's
watch this.
watching.
I hope she
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
too. She gonna love it.
Amazing costume.
She
You
gonna
win
tell
Halloween
everybody
this
too.
year.
She gonna tell everybody. You know.
She was on TV. She was on TV.
Yep. She gonna do it. So there you go. That's what's in bloom.
My 4
Thank you.
o'clocks are in bloom right now.
See?
Well, they were before I left town. And
I'm
that
sure
is
they
a-
still are.
That is a plant that I regret planting.
Whew, boy.
Maybe
It
they'll
is
stop
pretty if you've got an. It won't ever stop.
once they hit 5 o'clock. That's my
They're
joke.
going to reset.
Yeah, when the 4 o'clocks hybridize, do they change time? I mean, is there like a daylight saving version of?
Yeah, there'll be some. Yeah.
If you've got a space to fill with sun, it's not a bad idea. But if you're putting it somewhere, you will never, ever, ever get rid of it. It doesn't just reseed. It grows from, it's like tubers.
It's all over the place.
I mean, they look like sweet potatoes all in the ground.
Wow.
You can't get them out.
No, you can't.
I'll be battling that with my passion flower and mint. They're all together.
No.
It was a big mistake.
Sounds
before
like
I
you need to
knew.
rent a mini X and dig them out.
I'm just going to let it go wild. But let's get back into some questions
do
because,
it.
we got some boxwood
Boy.
questions in this morning, Austin.
Man, I'm ready.
You,
He almost spit his coffee out.
All right, let's get into it. Chris asks on YouTube, I just moved a mature boxwood last night. Got a good chunk of root ball with it and mixed existing soil with earth mix landscape.
Bravo.
Will I need to cut back the foliage for best chance of survival?
Chris, I know you were doing this last night. You've got the planting bug, man. He's always
Middle
doing
of the
something.
night.
In
You
the
can see
night.
him with
Midnight.
the headlamp.
Yeah.
on.
Digging.
Chris, you've done what you should have done, man. You did it perfect. You got a lot of the root ball. You moved it quickly. You mixed in earth mix with your native soil, and I'm sure you watered it in. I don't think any pruning is necessary right now. I mean, let's let that foliage stay up. I mean, if you have something that looks weird, wild hair shooting up, and you want to tidy it, I guess you can do that. But I really don't think you need to do any major pruning. We need all the photosynthesis we can get down to that root system to make all this stuff happen, sugars and water and everything. So leave the leaves up. That's what's making that process start. No pruning right now. If you wanted to do like a late February tidy, like shorten just a little and make it uniform, you can do that. But right now, let it be. You've
Let it
done what
be.
you did.
Well, I think you answered all the boxwood questions because the next one comes from Carol on YouTube, also pretty much asking the same question. So, Carol, if we didn't answer that, let us know. But she did say, I love you all and value your Saturday show and
you.
opinions. Love it.
Carol.
And then we did have another boxwood question that says when to shape and prune my boxwood. So let's just talk about that a little bit.
Like I said, typically that's a mid to late February type of chore, if you ask me. Kind of get them back in check at that point. Everybody loves a good uniform flush of boxwood. I know I do. I want all my foliage
know
to
you
be
do.
super, the same across the whole plant. And that way we get a uniform flush. Oh, the bust, Josh.
Yes. Poof.
Oh, it's
You know,
fantastic.
one of the great things about boxwoods, going back to the prior question, is when you're transplanting boxwoods, they're generally quite forgiving. They have a fibrous root system.
Yes.
And the root ball needs to be generally wider than deep. You
Yes.
know, matter of fact, oftentimes
Always, yeah.
you'll see them look like a pancake almost there.
Yeah.
But you want to dig that thing where the outer part of the root ball is as wide as the boxwood itself, at least, if not wider. But you don't have to go that deep with it because the roots are all at the surface. So another thing you never want to do around boxwoods is cultivate them. No, you don't want to put a tiller in around boxwood. People either think they're doing something wonderful, you will destroy them because that's where all the little feeder roots are. So they don't till around boxwoods.
Yeah.
Ever.
I mean, unless you just are trying to stunt them.
Kill them.
I mean, it will do that. So
Yeah. No, you're totally right. Those roots are right on top. I mean, it's an easy dig. Boxwoods are easy. You
I have transplanted them in the middle of July when the heat was just awful and had complete success.
Yep.
But you do have to, have a little sense about timing. Dig the hole where you're going to transplant it to first, and then dig it, transplant it, do your soil prep, backfill, and water immediately. And I mean soak it immediately. If you do that, generally they never even know they've been moved.
You're right.
They stay calm. Cool.
Everyone stay calm.
Everyone stay calm. We got one more question from Carol in on YouTube. Carol says, also your Bates team advised waiting till spring to prune my azalea, but I failed to mention it's an encore azalea. Should I still wait?
Yes, you still should wait until spring. But like I was saying, we need to talk about this. We need to talk about what do y'all think's going to happen? It may have been Carol's azalea that I looked at this morning that is literally, y'all, like almost in full bloom. Are azaleas next spring just going to not have new buds and blooms in the spring?
I think
Is it going to be minimal?
I think it's going to be the deeper buds, the ones that are down deep, that are going to be more prevalent. And I'm trimming azaleas for now or before spring and this applies also to anything else that's spring flowering, is to do it right after it flowers. Forsythia, quince, azaleas, lilacs, anything that's a spring flowering plant, just do it right after it finishes flowering. You can cut it as heavy as you want to at that point, and it'll flush right back out with new growth. And then leave it alone. Don't cut it anymore. And certainly you don't want to ever cut azaleas, after the early part of July, because already that wood that's on there is setting bud and getting ready for the next year's flower.
So chances are with this encore, it's going to be fine. It's
it's going to be. They do bloom on both the previous and the current year wood. That is true. And one thing about encore azaleas, while they are repeat bloomers, they don't bloom with the profusion that the old standard azaleas do. You don't get. They say more flowers more often. Actually, you get the same flowers. You just get them more often. You don't have as many. So at one time, and that's there's only X amount of energy on any plant, so it has to be spent somewhere, either to produce growth or it's pushing bloom buds open and showing that color. So there's no way to work around that magically, except that they have found varieties that are good at setting bud on the current year growth, which is what they did not do previously.
Yeah, I think we're just going to have to be happy with what we see right now. Be like, you know what?
Happiness is a choice anyway.
It is.
You have
It's
to
a good
choose
choice.
to be happy.
Yes, and enjoy your plants that are in bloom right now. But next spring, it may not be as full as it usually
It
is.
might be
if like rhododendron buds and lilac buds are cracking right now, I don't think over the winter they're going to set like new ones for the spring. I don't know that.
They won't.
I don't think they will either.
They won't.
So I think our spring is going to be a little less than usual.
It's going to be interesting, but at least we're
It
getting
is.
beauty right now.
That's right. So enjoy that beauty right now.
Right now, and enjoy us answering these next questions.
Do it.
Right now. I have a container and the plants have mold. Should I replace soil when cleaning out for the winter?
You have mold.
Mold.
Why do you have mold?
Plants have mold.
The plants
It
have
doesn't say
mold.
the soil, so I wonder if it could be. It could be a number of things.
I guess it could. Any pruning you can do to get rid of the moldy stuff, you kind of want to get rid of.
Usually mold's right on the surface, right?
Yeah, are we
Usually.
talking about on the dirt or on the plant?
Well,
Well,
it says on her plant their plant has mold. But if this is something that I would say is an annual pot, it sounds like you're going to be taking those plants out, right? And they're cleaning it out. So it's not a bad idea to switch out the soil if you're worried about it.
Agreed. Yeah,
I would
there's
say.
a reason for mold, and it's usually water related, a little bit wet probably. So if, like Caroline just said, it never hurts to refresh, a pot.
And the good thing about soil like that, don't just pitch it. If you've got a compost pile, it's a great place to add it. And then ultimately, when your compost breaks down, you're
going to kill it anyway with the heat.
it's going to do that. Plus, you're creating more good organic material to use in other gardening projects.
Correct. That is right. All right. Sorry, I had to get back to the questions. Please explain how some sort of caterpillar has appeared on my houseplants. No new plants. I am baffled. I would say that little caterpillar just snuck in from outside. They can do that.
Well, they can, but a lot of times what happens is the mature insect, the one that's flying, say the butterfly or the moth, whatever it is, found a way to lay an egg. Yeah, just like that.
Right there.
Laid an egg right on that plant, and then that egg
Like
hatched.
the fly on David's head a while ago.
Yeah.
Got an egg?
It was just because I was on camera. This is the one we want to go to.
But caterpillars don't want to be, they're not as super mobile as you think they are. Like, for the most part, the host really wants to lay the egg where they want that caterpillar to hatch and immediately start eating. We've all read the Hungry, Hungry Caterpillar book, right?
Very
Yes.
hungry.
Yes,
They're
we
very
have.
hungry.
But not lately.
Yeah, I have.
Not in a minute.
But anyway.
How many times in
Yeah.
the last week, Austin?
I've read that book a lot. But anyway, yeah, so it like I said, that's probably how it happened. A tiny little egg happened, and then it hatched, and then it just started eating.
And then you just got to find it.
The good thing about a caterpillar is you can easily pick it up and move it to a different tree.
sounds
Move it outside to a tree. Let it
Read the
live.
question one more time. Because it sounds like we got an infestation. I wonder if we.
I don't think
It didn't sound like that.
No.
It said like one caterpillar, right?
how some sort of caterpillar has appeared on my houseplants. I mean, I get them every so often. I'll just find holes in the leaves of a plant, and it's typically still on that
Little
plant,
tent.
and I just have to turn those leaves over, and I say, "There you are, little buddy."
Yeah, I mean, a lot of
And I
moths.
take them outside.
You know,
Yeah.
moth inside your house can lay an egg and it ends up being a caterpillar.
They
you know?
have nowhere else to go.
Right.
Right.
Until you give them alternatives and going outside. And speaking of going outside,
And if you got wormy plants and you need to replace them, where are you going to go, David?
well, I don't know that wormy plants necessarily need to be replaced. I mean,
okay.
because it's a fairly normal activity
Yes, it
for
is.
plants to get chewed on by all manner of critters. But what we're really mostly thinking about this time of year is what's going to give you the look your desire in your landscape. And for 92 years, we've been doing that thing at Bates Nursery and Garden Center, where if you'll bring out photographs of your particular landscape situation, it doesn't have to be the entire house, or it could just be one end of it. I've got this spot. Bring out photographs. That helps us a lot to give us insight into what's going on in your particular landscape situation. Little things to denote, like the windows are about chest high, or things like that. If there are big trees, what direction does it face?
Where the downpipe is.
Little things like that give us clues and help determine whether the ground is stays wet or tends to really dry out. If it's sun or shade, those are all the important and pertinent bits of information that we need to get from you to help you get the right plants in the right place the first time. That's the way we do it here at Bates Nursery and Garden Center. We're perfectly happy for you to shop at your own leisure and to take your time and take in all of the incredible display of plants that we have. And it can be overwhelming, however, so you might need a little direction, a few suggestions, and we invite you to come out and see us. We're conveniently located 1 mile north of Briley Parkway at exit 19 on Whites Creek Pike. That is just minutes, Josh, from Rivergate, Nashville West, Donaldson area,
Rutherford
downtown
County,
Nashville.
Williamson County.
Yeah. And it's
Wilson County.
It's worth the drive no matter where you're
Yeah.
coming from. And we have folks make that drive on a daily basis, so we thank you for that. And check out our website, batesnursery.com, in case you're curious about what we have. Everything we have is searchable online. Maybe you don't have the time to make the trip out. You can order it right there online, set up delivery, and we'll bring it right to your door. So check that out over at batesnursery.com. Bates Nursery and Garden Center. One thing about it is that you might want to know is I do write a weekly blog.
Yes.
Have been doing so for 16 years
Yeah,
now.
a long time.
Just crossed over the 33,000 subscriber barrier, which is
Wow.
mind-boggling to me. And generally 15 or 16,000 people a week actually read it. So I'm extremely flattered and honored by that, and I appreciate you reading what I put forth. And sometimes it's informational, and sometimes it might be entertaining.
A little whimsical like it was this week.
Yeah, we had
A little spooky.
we had a Halloween twist. A little, my brain went off in some tangent area, so it does from time to time. So check it out, either here, and if you come in, you can sign up, become a Bates Rewards member, and you'll get it. If you decide you don't want to receive it any longer, you can unsubscribe. And we don't share your information with anyone. So that's the way that works. Bates Nursery and Garden Center, beautifying Nashville since 1932. Thank you for giving us a moment. Talk about that and help you in your gardening and landscape efforts.
And speaking of that, if you were one of the people that read the newsletter, you realize that we've got a little sale. If you're like Caroline, you could come out and get a crossvine.
Yes, you can.
If you're like me, you can come out and get a better clematis.
30% off.
30% off.
Yes.
And then you can fertilize it with Supernatural. Not necessarily a fertilizer, but a great compost. Add that to the top. What? Don't look at me like that. I said they could come out and get a... If they like
At
you,
least the discount is fair.
You said better.
How about
I
wisteria?
did sneak that in.
Is wisteria?
Josh, for you could get a wisteria at 30% off.
Ooh.
All vines.
Yep.
All vines.
All vines.
Yeah, and even though I wrote the article, I completely forgot to mention that. So thank you.
Well, hey, y'all,
sometimes-
adding a trellis into your landscape somewhere in like a tricky spot or a tight spot or whatever, like that is a great design element that a lot of people forget about. And a vine to put up it, whether it be cross vine, whether it be wisteria. Well, be careful with wisteria on a little trellis. Don't do that.
Yes, yeah.
But cross vine, great. Clematis, great. To add that to a landscape in one of those spots that's kind of weird or just like a singular thing. Like, grow a vine up, a cool trellis. You know?
Do it. And crossvine makes a great screen.
Yes, it does.
Bignonia.
See?
Bignonia. That's
David likes
right.
the bignonia.
Yesterday, I was tucking my crossvine into my trellis.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
My crossvine, I sent a picture to Bridget right before I went out of town because it's growing all as a screen on my porch.
It's
and she
making
wanted
a
to
map.
see, she wanted a picture to show customers like, yes, you can use this as a screen. And mine stays up all through the winter.
Is it starting to show its fall color yet? You haven't
Again,
seen
I
it.
got home so
You
late
haven't
and
seen
left
it. It
early
was
that I
dark
haven't
last
seen
night.
it yet.
Yeah.
Get back to us next week.
I will get back to you next week.
Mine
All
is
right.
shedding some interior leaves and no sign of coloring up yet.
Nice.
Usually mine gets color when it gets cold. It's like the
Yeah.
cold makes it really deepen. But we've got some color in here right now.
We do.
We do.
What's in room with Caroline?
On it, Tyler.
That
Actually,
was smooth right there.
that was so
Tell you what.
smooth.
The button is blue and I press it.
So proud of you. Look at you go. Well, like we said, I have not been here, so I think Austin and Bridget did the room yesterday. Am I right?
Bridget brought a cart up with a whole beautiful cart of all of these perennials you see out front. I did the shrubs
I think
later.
Ryan helped some too, didn't
Ryan did. Ryan had a great idea for the feature plant. So, like I said, I designed it, but Bridget brought in all of this cool color in here, and I just kind of splashed it all together. Hopefully it works. But Caroline, tell them what's here.
Y'all
You
did
do
a
it.
great job. So let's start down in front of the tables. We'll start with the Quick Fire Fab Hydrangea.
Those look good.
There we go. We're panning down.
There's brown,
Yeah,
there's
yeah.
whites,
There's brown,
pinks.
there's whites, there's pinks. It's gorgeous.
They
My
are
hydrangeas
spectacular.
look. Yes, the pink color. I don't have any like pink hydrangeas. I feel like I need some. Maybe one day I'll get some. And then that blue like grass looking plant, I mean it is, that you see right there, that's bunny blue sedge.
Aw.
So cute, so blue.
What a cute name.
And it's, yeah, very cute. Now, in front of Austin, right behind that's rainbow ascot euphorbia. I'm a big fan of this plant. I've heard it will perennialize. I've tried it twice and it hasn't for me, but I am a little bit colder and windy where I am. And Josh is holding some up over there.
I love
It's
the
also
understory.
It's a little
is
wet
so
for
cool.
euphorbia sometimes over the winter.
Right,
You know?
yeah.
Structure there that is just cool.
They're so cool. Yeah.
There was a time during the 70s where euphorbia was what the goal of life was.
Yes,
Yeah.
it was.
That's not euphorbia. That's something else.
That's something else. And then if you see this little red leaf tucked in right down here, but kind of behind the coreopsis, that's going to be Husker Red Penstemon. So beard's tongue is its common name, I believe. That one is a great one.
That's a nice leaf.
Look at the underside of the leaf. It's burgundy. It's
I
very
tucked it
fall.
in. I tucked it in against the red. I thought it was nice.
You
Beautiful.
did a fantastic job. I am so proud of you right now. I need to be gone more often so you get some chance
No, you
to
don't.
really decorate.
I was hustling to get this done yesterday.
I will never leave town again. And then the coreopsis you're looking at, that's heartstrings coreopsis. My gosh, look how cute. Oh, we went down to the pot first, then that was exciting too.
That's a proven
Look.
winner.
Yeah,
Proven winners
winners are-
dip.
Yeah,
Yep.
TM.
right there. I love coreopsis. Great little perennial that you can add to your bed. Loves sun and just kind of grows like a weed. So
It does.
get
Covered
some of
up
that.
with blooms,
And then
too.
we've got coral chrysanthemum right here in front. If you're wondering what these, yes, salmon colored blooms are. Look at that.
Chris and the mum.
There are all these little babies in these pots too.
Long stems, so really good,
Yeah.
great cut flower.
Yeah, looks just like my Sheffield's pink, but with a different flower. But the stems look the same. And you guys all know how much I love that plant. I love it a
And I
lot.
really like that more loose and open look that it has compared to the
Super tight.
fall hardy mums like you see. It really has a much more natural look to it, and it doesn't.
Kind of astery to me.
Well, mums and asters, very, very close.
Very similar. But this is, I mean, if you're going to spend money on mums and you want something that's gonna give you color year after year, this is a great option. And we are.
Awesome.
I'm
Josh,
sure
can-
we're fully stocked right now.
can,
I hope.
Can you spell chrysanthemum?
Chrysanthemum?
Yeah. Can you spell it?
No.
Okay. Just curious.
You look like you were thinking hard. All right, so let's go ahead and get to the back behind the TV. I'm going to let Austin take that away because you're the one who brought that in.
Yeah, interesting foliage back here in the corner with our Yoshino cryptomeria. This is a large growing cryptomeria. a couple years last year, Cryptomeria and the year before did not do well here. It got very cold.
Well, they took it on the chin.
Hated it. But man, when it comes to texture, I know a guy that came in that said he makes winter wreaths out of Cryptomeria stems. And I said, that's a good idea. That would be a textural, cool leaf
Very
wreath.
flexible, too.
Yes, very flexible. And then down here we got some Ruby Spice Clethra. I brought that in because the fall color is really looking nice on those. You know, straight up yellow working up to the green that's still there. The two-tone look I always like. And Clethra is a very versatile plant. Consistent bloomer every single year, like I said, with that fall color. And can live in a lot of different sites. So
Can
looking
take
good.
dry, can take wet.
You're right. Pretty much will live anywhere. So
I love it.
There you go. That's what happened this week.
Well-
Caroline. And we got the cutie.
We got the cutie. Look at that little flower that's just dancing in the background.
This was Ryan's pick for the
Shout out
house
Ryan.
plant.
This is Winter's Cupid Camellia. I just drew a blank on what it was for a second. There was a small pause.
Show the backside of those petals. Look at the pink.
But
Tyler.
careful. Don't
Yeah,
knock
but
them
careful.
off.
Yeah.
Can you see?
Don't shake it too hard.
The blush pink on the back with the pure white on the
Yeah.
front.
I see it.
That
They are
is-
lovely.
And look, it's just a little 1 gallon, y'all. $15.99 and get you that all day. And like everybody should have some camellia. I mean, let's be honest.
I bought some 1 gallons when they came in. They've been sitting on my driveway.
And
Don't
you
know
know,
how those are faring
And
right
the great
now.
thing is with the advent of hardy camellias that have come in over the last decade to 15 years in particular, it really has been a wonderful additive component to gardens and landscapes around. They were the kind of things that there were only Camellia japonicas that were really the most hardy types prior to these winter hardy types of camellias, and you pretty much had to have a protected, not too much heat, but some protection in a greenhouse to grow them before. So thankfully, they found these cultivars in the mountains of Korea, and they've hybridized a great many off of them. So that is what horticulture can do when it's working at its best.
Definitely.
Amazing.
And we are so stocked on camellia right now, y'all.
Yes.
If you've always been wanting a camellia and you want to see what the bloom looks like come out right now. We've got some that are so money, you just can't even believe it.
And I mean $15.99, y'all.
Right there in the
That's
Baitstream area.
Yes.
So
Right
they
there.
are-
where
Full
Ryan
show.
dwells.
Full
Come
show.
Talk to Ryan, say hi, and get you some camellia. All right, let's get a question in while Tyler gets photos queued up. We got a live question from Jane Ann Gibbs. Jane,
Hey, Jane.
says,
Hi,
good morning,
Jane.
Jane. As I have been mulching leaves, I've noticed a white mold on poplar leaves. I remember hearing that there is a threat to poplars now. Does this white mold indicate some kind of fungal poplar disease? Looks like white smeared bird poop. Sorry about the description.
Well, don't be sorry. We like very descriptive things.
We need that.
I mean, going into winter dormancy
bird.
with like fungus on stuff and mold or whatever on poplars, I mean, that's just going to be given back. I mean, you know what I mean? Like that.
That's part of the nitrogen fixation
Exactly.
process. It's got to be able to break down.
Yeah, and I don't think there's going to be any threat at all to tulip poplars around here. You know how many tulip poplars we have in this state and the whole northeastern,
Gajillions,
southeastern
yes.
United States? They're everywhere. Like, I don't
You
think
could
there's-
throw a rock almost.
and hit one for sure. Yeah. So be clean with those leaves. You know, we don't want to, be keeping those around all winter or whatever. But like, if you can rake them up and get them out of there, it's certainly fine. But I don't think
Yeah, they're not particularly long-lived trees anyway. And
they can. I mean,
Yeah.
some can live long, but you're right. I mean, they're not super long lived, but at the same time, like they're living.
great lightning rods. Great
Yeah.
lightning rods. Yeah.
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 Ooh. All right, looks like we've got some photos up. This first one comes
Uh-oh.
from Joyce. Good morning, Joyce. Joyce says, Austin, I've attached the picture of the Hanabi hydrangea I mentioned. Is that right?
Hanabe?
Hanabi?
Hanabe.
I don't have my glasses on, so I'm
Anova.
trying to get close. I usually make everything big.
Well, she did tell me about a hydrangea, and I was unfamiliar with it, so I do.
P.S. Last week, David mentioned a magnolia with great brown on the backside of the leaves. He didn't recall the variety. I bet it was teddy bear.
Could
Teddy
have been
bear,
that.
definitely one.
Could have been
That
D.D.
looks like
Blanchard.
Stargazer,
Could have.
doesn't it? Doesn't that look like the Stargazer?
It's similar to that,
Yeah.
but she got this at a random place. I remember her telling me through things and like help them kind of grow through one of those to keep that the floppy from happening. That might be helpful for you, but no, it's a macrophylla, Joyce. We can't be pruning that thing. You got to leave those sticks up. And I know they're flopping right now, but honestly, that's still beautiful. The leaves are clean.
Yes.
The
Yeah.
bloom is beautiful. Like you're doing good work.
You're doing good.
Joyce,
We
doing
had
great.
a minor little internet issue, so I'm just making sure everybody can see the photo and get a good picture of it. We just had a little
Gorgeous bloom.
blip.
Hey, if you listen to our podcast, you know that Caroline talks in bird bath sizes. So Tyler, bring the picture back up. Those had 4 bird baths big. We're like,
I said 3, and y'all were like, "What you think of a standard bird bath?" I said bird bath top.
the top, yes. So there you go.
3 of those, but it's not that big though. Come to think of it. All right, let's get to our next photo, next question, because we are quickly running out of time. I don't know which one Tyler's pulling up. All right, that's the arborvitae, I believe.
Yeah,
this comes from Pat. You talked about interior browning last week, but these have exterior browning a good bit, mostly on the very sunny side. I see no evidence of bagworms.
I've got the same thing on mine.
It's all good.
It's all good.
I still call
That's-
it internal though.
That's still in interior, yeah. Hey, Ashley.
Sorry.
That's still impatience.
Yeah, that's still, and on the sun side kind of makes sense because Arborvitae went through a stressful year this year. Let's be honest, very droughty this summer. So that being on the sun side kind of makes sense to me that browning's coming out a little bit further. But I don't see any reason for worry on that. Just get in there, clean up that brown. You still got that great green on the exterior.
You catch it when the foliage is dry. If you got one of those handheld battery powered leaf blowers,
Yeah.
you can dislodge a lot of that foliage and get it down on the ground and put on a pair of gloves and just vigorously agitate it with your hands
Get in
and
there.
work it out of there. So
Yep,
Yeah,
definitely.
All right, and our final question or photo comes from Debbie. Advise, please, how to prune to keep top from suckering. New growth blooms, then flops, leaving a hole in the top, and the same thing happens over and over again.
I might not have gotten this photo, Caroline.
We will get to that next week then. Sorry, Debbie. We will see you next week.
That's one of those that kind of needs the photo accompaniment.
Yeah,
It
I kind
does.
of need that one.
It does. It's
I'm
okay,
painting
Tyler.
the visual picture, though.
Debbie, we will
see
get
it.
to your photo next week. We have it in our emails, and we will get back to you. All right, so let's get a couple more questions in that we got in on our page. How do I get rid of pokeweed in my yard? Oh my gosh, you dig it up. That's the only way I found, and you got to dig deep.
And keep digging.
Those roots will break easy, and then it will spread and keep going.
And
You're
when
so
you
right.
think you're done,
You're not.
dig some more.
Dig some more.
Yes.
Pretty much.
Yes.
If you leave any part of that root in there, it's coming back.
Yeah,
and
and
the tap root can be like this long on a poke salad.
It's crazy. As soon as you see them pop up, because they will reseed, get those little saplings out of the ground. They will establish so fast, and they will take over that bed that already has 4 o'clock and passion flower growing in it, because that's what I have as well.
Well, but you're right, though. It's not just a hand pull. It's a shovel. You
It's
have to get a shovel. Even with the little seedling that comes
Yeah,
up, you can't
when
pull
they're
that. The
this
stem just
big,
breaks.
You can pull them this big, but
Yeah.
once they get like
Any
yay
bigger at
tall,
all.
it breaks, and you've made a mess.
And then wash your hands.
Yeah, true.
Honestly.
Yeah.
Yes, it's
When
not
to
good
stop
for you.
planting perennials in Nashville? Construction in December, and I want to plant after.
Never stop planting perennials.
Never.
Never.
Just don't plant them where the drywall truck's coming.
Yeah.
That's
Okay?
right.
I mean, keep in mind what you're
Yeah.
job site. I'm serious.
They will
about
drive
this.
over it. They will walk over it. They will lay their lumber on top of it. Yeah.
I think
they're waiting until the end.
They will put the lumber on top of it. I promise you that.
Yes.
But I honestly think this is a great question. But so many people think that once wintertime comes, you can't plant anymore. Like this happens all the time. I get this question all the time.
Yeah.
And y'all, there is no time where you can't plant perennials around here. If our ground freezes, if it ever does freeze, I mean, barely ever. Like plants are dormant during the cold. It's the easiest on you. Like it's way better than planting dead of the summer. Like you got to water that.
And things you
Dead of
plant,
summer's the
and
only
things
time.
that you plant this time of year are almost a full year ahead of anything you plant in the springtime. People
Yes.
tend to do it in the spring
Okay.
because that's when they're ready. They've been in the house all winter. However, if you plant them in the fall,
And new
they would
construction-
explode come springtime.
New
Exactly.
construction
They will.
sites are much cleaner than they used to be. They put dumpsters. They don't dig burn piles. They don't do a lot of stuff that they used to. So I mean, yeah, go ahead, get them in the ground.
Get
Another
'em
thing
in
in
the
the used
ground.
to department.
Yes, used to. Hey, and by the way, Teresa can spell M-U-M, David Bates.
That's the short
Okay.
form. CHRYSANTHEMUM.
That's easy
Hey.
for you to do. Okay. All right. Okay.
There you go.
You spell good. You always do.
GOOD.
Yeah, good. G-U-D. All right, folks. We're out of time again.
Yep.
Nabbit.
Yeah.
Now, there's
Yeah,
a
it
special
gets-
guest in the
gets by
studio
quickly.
next week, so
Yes.
be sure to tune in on Saturday morning at 0800.
Talking
Central.
edibles and
Oh,
food.
we're falling back tonight, I think, too, aren't we? Yes.
Is it tonight?
No.
Is that tonight?
I think.
No.
November
No.
3rd.
No.
Yeah.
Okay, so
November
we won't-
3rd.
It'll still be
That's
8
tomorrow.
o'clock, but it'll be an hour earlier. But never mind about that. Hey, we love you folks. Hey, we hope you come back. Come and see us out here at Bates Nursery and Garden Center.
We'd love to see you.
Yeah, they would. Have a good time. See you next week.